Bit of a different video. We're talking about another country outside of Ireland, back a few years ago, back in the Second World War in particular. And still with an old monarch, the King of Denmark, back in the Second World War. And I'll explain in a second, because it's a very interesting story, it's forgotten about. And I do think it kind of shows, a good character of a leader. Like Michael Higgins, for example, I don't know who thinks he's a good leader, because, again, I go through this with King Christian the 10th of Denmark. In fact, for a man at 80 at the time, he was a good man. I'll just show you the picture of him. You probably have seen it before. And King Christian the 10th, he was over Iceland, to the 1944. He was king of Iceland. Iceland gained independence. But yeah, so basically, why am I talking about King Christian the 10th? So basically, in the Second World War, as we know, Denmark fell in 6 hours to Nazi Germany. Um, and the king, refused to leave Denmark. He was going to stay with the people and weather it out with the people. And you can look this up. I do recommend to look it up because it's an interesting story. Um, Again, during the occupation, because obviously Germany occupied Denmark. The king told people not to assist with guns and not to put up a struggle to the German invaders. But we did do something, and again, shows really good leadership as a monarch or anything like that. You really are a figurehead to the people. You're a symbol of national resistance. You're a symbol of the nation. Same as a president, a symbol of the nation. King Christian, as he used to do before the war anyway, used to go out on a horse. And again, this man was 80 at the time, but no guards or nothing like that go out. There's videos on YouTube of him going out during the Nazi occupation, when Nazi soldiers were around the streets of Copenhagen. Him going around in his uniform at 80 with no guards around him, nothing like that. He could have been shot, assassinated. The Germans could have kidnapped him. But he went around at age 80 riding his horse, greeting the people, greeting the people of Denmark, and showing that Denmark still lives on. And that the king's still here and Denmark still lives on, even though the Nazis have occupied it. And again, that shows really civil disobedience, in other words, because there was a royal insignia of the it's kind of a logo of the Kingdom of Denmark, which many people in Denmark started wearing and sympathized with the king, and and wore it. The Nazi Germany really couldn't do anything about it because everybody was wearing them. And again, that's just again, not there were no violence or anything like that. It was just kind of civil disobedience, and just kind of showing that we're not going to back down from this. And again, it's really interesting. Again, there's a few videos up again on YouTube. I do recommend it. Him just walking through the streets of Copenhagen, along with only members of the public, and him greeting only members of the public. And again, I would ask the question: if he was president of Ireland now, and the vote for the COVID vaccine passports was being placed, I wonder, would he go out on a horse around the Phoenix Park and ask members of the public what do they think? Did he think he should sign it in? Because I would say he would be that type of king to go out and meet these people. Unlike Michael Higgins with the up in the hours, he could have went out and asked people why did they think he shouldn't sign it? And again, he didn't go to the gate again. I'm sure he could have went to the gate and asked a few people why did they think, and have a debate about it at least. But no, there was no such thing as debate in this country. It's just you call everybody conspiracy theorists, and that's the debate, and that's the end of it. In the media. But yeah, really interesting king. It really, really is, and obviously he done that every morning. He used to get up and ride through the streets of Copenhagen under Nazi occupation, with no guards or nothing like that. Just himself at 80 years old, going around the streets. And he used to do that. And again, that's something that the Germans couldn't really stop him because he was a man at 80. Going around and causing really no harm to anybody. But basically just saying the king's still here, Denmark still lives. And just kind of a bit of embarrassment to the Germans because they couldn't really do anything to him. And then obviously the telegram for his, I think it was, he was 80th birthday, I think it was in 1942 or 1943. And obviously Hitler did send to the king, happy birthday wish to the king, or was it? It could have been this jubilee as being king because he was a long time king of Denmark. And Hitler said obviously it must have been a birthday or things, and whatever he said to Hitler, kind of not Hitler, a good bit, so you're again, he's a man of many talents, I suppose you could say. But again, it kind of does swing because again he does seem like the person again looking for like around with the people, on the ground with the people, not in the high palace away from his people. On the ground meeting people, going through the streets, in the same boat as the people, and this, especially during the German occupation. Take for example the Netherlands. Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands, left to form the government in exile in London. The same as the King of Norway, King Haakon, left Norway, even though he didn't want to leave Norway during the Nazi occupation. And interesting facts too. He left the crown. He left all the royal jewels in a cave in Denmark, saying they shouldn't leave Denmark because not Norway, Denmark, Norway. Actually, funny enough, they were actually back here hundreds of years ago. Denmark and Norway were a coalition where the two nations were one. But yeah, he said not to leave. They let the crown jewels go out of Norway. They always remain in Norway, because that's where the king is and that's where Norway is. But yeah, Belgium, very little was done in Belgium. The king of Belgium just gave up really. He didn't resist. Like there's many other things you could talk about. There's many other monarchies. You could talk about King George VI, and how he stayed in London. Again, these are all good courage and leaders putting themselves at risk, and you're basically saying whether or out with the people. And that's what King Christian done during the war, Second World War. He stayed with his people. He didn't leave the country. I suppose you could say that about King George VI too, staying in London as the song on World War II. The king is still in London. He stayed in London and he wouldn't leave London during the Blitz in London in the 1941. He stayed with his people. And again, I wonder with Michael Higgins, again, I'm making that comparison to Michael Higgins because again, technically, if Michael Higgins would be king, in a way, I suppose, of Ireland, but he is president. Again, that'd be the same title. Really the same title. But yeah, King Christian, really interesting fellow to look up. There's somebody that's we lack nowadays in leadership because that shows true leadership. Going on the ground and meeting the people and to not care for his own safety and going out, and meeting the people, greeting the people of his country. And again, Michael Higgins hides up in the hours, and that's all that's said. I mean, that's all that's done. That's all. But again, there's always the question in Irish society: what's the need for a president? Because again, they do basically fuck all. They go around the country spending a huge amount of taxpayers' money on going to Belgium, going to here, going to there, going to everywhere. But anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what to take and subscribe for more, and bye.